5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome to it, Wednesday edition of the show. This is On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. I'm Austin Orman. To my left right now, Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Stricky, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
That's a fact. Yeah.
How you doing, my boy?
I am. I'm doing great. Just partaking in a little bit of the vittles from the meal. Shout out to the meal.
They're the hookup.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to hook up a Stricky delight. So took some time. Came on down, got me a little something out of the fridge here. You can do so. You can do so yourself. You ever come down to the mill, you can not only get coffee, but you can also get great sandwiches and little vittles, some chips and dips. And
you can see us.
You can even have some wine and see us too. Walk by, do a little wave, drive by, little beat.
You were not around to sip last week, Stricky.
No sippy. No sippy for
Stricky.
What is Stricky? Clicky for Stricky.
No clicky for Stricky.
No clicky for Stricky. Yeah, but it's all good.
You're here for tomorrow, though, right?
I'll be here tomorrow. Yeah. Depending on how things are looking, I may be by way of phone on the way home with the last segment because there's supposed to be some stuff coming in after 5.
Just say beam me up, Scotty.
I wish I you know what?
It don't work like that?
Would that not be awesome, bro? That you can just step into a booth and be anywhere you want. You know
I will say that
would you pay a premium for that?
I would pay to be able to do that from here to my house and back. But there's something about it's the journey, not the destination, right? Like I like a fun road trip. Yeah. I like airports. I like flying. So yeah, instantaneous travel or near instantaneous travel. On the one hand, yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be so cool. But I would really use it for like the mundane stuff, right? The daily, I got to drive into work. I got to drive back home. But I get the chance to, drive down to Kansas City, drive to Chicago, drive to Denver, fly to Vegas like I did. I don't want to just be beamed there. Like I like flying in airplanes. I like taking road trips with people. So I think there's a blessing and the curse to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think each year I'd like to drive somewhere at least twice. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get to do that soon. My mom will be moving back to good old Opelika, Auburn, and she needs me to drive the big old U-Haul. So I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be part of my my trip for one of these drive trips. Nice little 10, 12-hour drive. But I got to get my mind right. I've done it before, so it's not something that I haven't been able to accomplish, making that drive from Orlando back here when I moved back. So
I drove from here to Naples with a buddy. So I've done that one before.
Naples is a nice hump, my boy. You got all of Florida.
Tell me about it.
All of Florida. That's a good 6 to 10 hours alone, but to get out of the panhandle, get up and then out of the panhandle.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, that look, there's nothing worse, Austin. Not worse. That ain't even, now you're saying Worcestershire or something, but yeah. There's nothing worse, Austin, than having it was bad going from Dallas when I was driving to go and coach in New Mexico. That drive in central Texas through west was dang near a half a day.
And probably felt like
it was like 8 hours alone. Just you think you're driving that long, you're out of a state by now. You're still in state.
Oh no, it's 8 hours from side to side plus for Nebraska, 8, 9 maybe.
Right?
Yeah. So same thing.
Halfway.
But you're halfway.
So literally you can dang near, if you're going, West Coast to East, or and you got to go through Texas, you plan to stay a whole. I would take a stop. Like I would be so frustrated that I'm still in Texas.
Get to Dallas one day.
Yeah, and stop.
Hit the rest.
Boom, go hit the rest. But yeah, it's there's some of those drives that you're just like, ugh. But Tennessee set up, like for example, Tennessee is set up to where it's not necessarily a bad drive, even though they have that long state. You know what I mean? But you can come in and get out of Tennessee pretty quickly, depending on if you're going north or south. You know what I mean? Yeah. But even if you're going east, it's kind of built to get you out. It's not built to take you all the way through. Yeah, I mean, from Memphis, obviously, yeah, it is. But then it's kind of a dip. It can take you out. You're going to go to Bristol, which is like on the Virginia border.
Gotcha.
It's kind of wild. And in those states like that, Austin, that have literally, and there's other places like that here too, but you literally driving downtown, I think it's called Main Street or something like that. One side is Virginia of the street. One side of the street is Virginia. The other side of the street is Tennessee. Those type of places are kind of wild to me too, and I think there's some globally, some places where you're literally in one country or the other. You're in the southern hemisphere or the north. Like those are wild dynamics for me. And they did it to where, like, I think they had this place. It was like a tourist location, Austin, where you can go and on one side they had like a little drainage thing. It would go one way. You go to the middle, it like would sit,
and then you go the other side,
and then go the other way.
Yeah,
that's wild to me.
Doesn't that happen at like the Continental Divide? I think that's where like the water flows west.
Flows one
east.
way. Yeah. That's like, I've been to that. I got pictures of that when I went to the one up in the Rockies.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
You mentioned Tennessee, and let me just say, shout out to my aunt and uncle who moved to Tennessee a handful of years ago now. I don't know when exactly. Need to get out and visit them. Stricky, driving through Tennessee or really any of Appalachia just scares me.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how up to date your brakes have to be in those mountains?
Well,
one wrong turn, one little slip, any rain, that could be the end. Give me good old flat Nebraska, dang it.
I've lived in Montana, so I'm very aware of when I remember when I was a kid, my dad took me skiing one time, and yeah, you talk about scary. And when it's snowing and you're up there, and look, it's 2 lanes, steep down,
even with the switchbacks.
And then you look over and it's like, I don't want to go down there.
Enjoy the view could be the last thing you see.
Yeah, and then the dynamic of like even in Colorado when you're going up there and they have those when you're going down and they have those ramps
for the trucks
in case. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It's sketchy. Let's hit our text line here, 402-464-5685. 2526 says, I don't know if anybody's ever said I like airports. I don't know if I love airports themselves. I mean, some of them are pretty cool. I get it. They're just kind of hubs for people to get in and obviously get out of. I just like airplanes. Airplanes are cool, man. Flying is fun. And Stricky, did you see what Cam Jurgens said his first purchase with his $68 million contract was going to be?
What's that?
TSA pre-check. You a pre-check guy?
That thing works, especially in Omaha.
So what's the difference? Like, I've never actually used pre-check.
It depends. Pre-check is really where they'll look at your ID and you don't have to take off shoes and you don't have to take your electronics out of your bag. And it's a little bit shorter. Now,
so it's easy for smooth criminals.
If you're able to get through, the check part of it. But then you can go a little bit higher and you can get pre-check with clear. So all that does is you go to clear, they do your biometrics, fingers or eye. And if you have pre-check, you literally just walk past everybody and go right. Like, so I think pre-check clear, which I have both of them, is probably a little bit higher. And then they also have like global entry. That's if you're doing a lot of international travel. And there's another one that I think that's global. But those of you who are not passport bros, you got to get your real ID. Now, I think Nebraska has it because they said something about the star, so I don't think that's something we have to worry about on our IDs. But if you don't have it or you're in a state that doesn't, better get on it.
Better get it.
Get your passport, bro.
Do you think this guy in the middle's a TSA pre-check guy?
He's a passport bro for sure. He's a passport bro for sure. Don't get it twisted. Jay Foreman. Jay Foreman is well traveled. No personal attack. You well traveled, my boy.
I've been overseas.
You've been some places.
I've been
some things
before, a long time ago, but I've been overseas before.
Are you a TSA pre-check guy?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, he bougie. See, I don't have all that.
TSA pre-check.
You just said you had pre-check. You just said it. He heard it. He was listening.
No,
I was sitting right next to you.
You know what, y'all? See how they do me? 402-464-5. You see how they do me? They take my words and misconstrue it. Yep. There we go.
I think like when you're in the bigger cities like Minneapolis and like Dallas or whatever, you definitely need to. I guess they got that clear or whatever. That's probably the best thing to do. I mean, TSA pre-check is secondary to that, but airport travel is crazy, man. So, I always try to trim down on that. But I've been international a little bit. Not as much as, people think. But, I think the one time I've been to Germany or whatever, in Paris, I think it's just based on when you get there. I mean, going through customs,
time frame as far as going through customs and stuff. Yeah.
That ain't no joke, man. Because you're scared because you don't never know if they just going to throw you in the clink. You ain't got. I mean, I don't.
It's innocent, but how do they know?
Yeah, just cause they think like, we're
you look funny. You smell funny.
But so I think that's the biggest thing. My biggest takeaway is that you're going. The one thing I did learn, is that you always have to. One thing I tried to do. And I learned it because one of my best friends, he has a water purification company, and so he traveled way more early in our lives than I did. Is that he's like, man, you just always got to be respectful of where you're at, like of their traditions or anything like that. So you have to exercise patience. I don't know French, right? So you got to make sure that you try to speak their language. You got to understand that they're more annoyed with you because you don't know their language. And so it's just a different, over there in Europe, man, they they're enclosed on you. Like, and I don't like that. But that's just the way when you're in Paris or if you're in Germany, they just there.
Well, it's the old world kind of style, right? Not very spread out, just everything.
Everything's on top of you, man. I mean, I was over in maybe Frankfurt, and it'd be just like just downtown like this, and I was, they got really, and my daughters are real young, and so they had these like, shoes that were really good, like thick bottoms, so I was kind of in there like looking around that, man. Well, I tell you, just over across the street, skinheads were just rolling down there, and they just be doing their thing. It's different over there, but it really shed light, when you get some people that know you're not from there and they talk to you about how they view American traditions or America versus, what you hear on the TV or radio. One thing that's really interesting to me is I talked to a guy and we were actually stuck on the trolley, right? So we're, so he's like, where you from? Talking to him. He's like, man, it's like, you Americans. He's like, we don't understand you guys. He's like, no, he's like, you have 2 people in your house that can drive, but you have 3 or 4 cars. Because they're all about minimizing stuff. So you don't see any SUVs. Like right now, you see a couple of SUVs out here. Or a crossover, 2 SUVs. You don't see that. So if you're driving an SUV over there, you a diplomat or something. You like, right? I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
Everything's small cars.
Small, narrow roads.
Small, narrow roads.
Yeah.
High traffic and very small, like in France, I didn't really like the food, man.
I didn't either, bro. Like,
right?
I felt the same thing. I was
McDonald's.
like, I did too, man. I really did.
Big Mac, man. I need some meat.
I think the best thing I could eat is maybe croquets, maybe, but I couldn't really.
No
Even
croissant?
the breakfast. Even the breakfast was.
It was busted.
Yeah, it was no bueno.
It was busted. But the wine and stuff and the drinks were
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
They're strong over there.
Uncle Kev would tell us that wine is a food over there, so you can day drink and say, I mean lunch.
But I'm talking about the vodkas and stuff. That stuff pure. It's going right to your bloodstream.
Uncut, unfiltered?
That part.
Immediately.
Dang.
And they stay up late.
Well, is France one of those countries that like takes that midday break? I know Spain does.
That's Spain.
I know
That's
Spain
siestas.
does. Yeah.
But they be
Siestas
smoking
and
over there
tapas and all
in
that
France.
stuff. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I get it. I get you.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, dang.
I mean, enclosed spaces too. Like
Yes,
it's
yes,
full of smoke.
Yeah, not the smoke I
Yes,
like.
me with
Either.
it.
Cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
OG CJ says he's going for his global entry interview tomorrow.
Yeah, OG
And
CJ.
he live in Nebraska?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he travels a lot.
Yeah, he's
he
all
does.
over.
Yeah, he's all
okay.
over.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you always have to prepare. Like,
hold on.
Things, you always got to get these things based on how you
live. Move.
Yeah.
Yeah. CJ, hit your boy Stricky up. Hit your boy Stricky up because I want to know. I want to know how that process goes and the time frames, and so I can plot and plan for that. I got things I'm trying to see. I'm talking about.
OGCJ know how to get a hold of us. Cubsker says he's going down to Texas in a couple weeks. It'll be a fun trip. What beaches do you guys recommend visiting?
In Texas?
In Texas.
You don't have to go down to Galveston. You want to go
Corpus
down
Christi.
Yeah. You don't have to go Padre. You want to go
spring break. You guys are
right.
tripping.
Where are you going to the beach in Texas then, Jay?
Yeah.
I saw Galveston and that ain't no beach.
Yeah.
Going to the sands of Lubbock?
Something.
You can get some good golf.
Lake Louisville.
Get some good eating out of there.
Yeah.
There ain't no beach. No, actually, Galveston's all right. It's fun down there.
Just all right.
It's nice. I mean, it's built up so now it's an extension from Houston.
Basically.
So when I lived there, you get outside of Houston going to Galveston, it's kind of real, like, I guess, it was nothing. And now the last time is like it's really nice down there. I mean, it's stuff built up in between. And Galveston is they put a lot of money in there too.
Didn't Galveston get hit by one of those hurricanes in the 2000s?
Sure did.
Yeah.
That whole area, I feel like. Bill and Bennett says Europeans are the weird ones. They're the ones that eat snails.
What's that called?
Escargot.
Escargot.
Have you ate?
Negative. I'm not bougie like that. Negative.
Yeah. You answered that too quick.
Negative. He trying to be.
You've been munching on escargot.
Negative. No,
caviar.
None of that. No caviar. No monkey brains.
Caviar.
Nope. I refuse. I've had calamari.
Calamari's good.
Yeah, that's about as far as I go. And I don't even like the little squiddy when they're the full squiddy. I like just the rings.
Full squiddy?
Yeah, the
calamari.
Little, when you literally can see, sometimes you'll get the body of the squiddy.
Ugh.
So I just do the rings. I mean, I'll do the squiddy from time to time. But I don't think I could do octopus. Well,
he's contemplating over there.
I don't want the tentacle things or the
what part of the octopus do you
think it might come back alive?
Yeah.
You
cut them off, they still living.
You ever see in those restaurants where they put hot water on them and the nerves are still there and they move?
Jump. Yeah.
Negative, Ghost Rider. I don't want none of that. No smoke. I don't want no smoke with you, octopus. Well,
I saw something on TikTok where this guy, he commentates that he's going spearfish and get food. So he'll have so when you go down there, they have the gun, but he'll have a thing. You'll have all different types of fish, and it'll be on on his belt.
Well, all types of fish to put on the hook, so you
no. So when you're down there and say you shoot it's like a trigger fish where the fin you could do that or anything down there. He'll have it and then put it on his belt.
It on the belt. Okay.
So then he's got a wide variety of food, eating lobsters and stuff like that. Well, he went in there messing with this octopus. and
did it clamp his face?
Well, he had the pole in there, and he thought that, and he had it, and those things can
kind
of
wrap
go
around,
down.
right?
Well, it went all up on his arm, and so he panicked and swim up to the top. And I think when they get up top, they kind of lose a little bit of their strength. Mm-hmm. And finally, that thing was all in it, in his mouth. Yeah. See, I got to kill that thing quick. Yeah, I got to see it turn colors because what it did was it released some ink.
Yeah.
So it kind of messed up his whole program. Right. See, I ain't trying to do all that.
Negative.
I got to shoot it and I got to see it be dead before I even think. Because you in their element.
Exactly.
Right. You down in their element messing around.
That's why I'm not going scuba diving. You're not going to get me underwater with sharks and eels and jellyfish. None of that stuff. I am in their territory. I do not belong. They're going to get me long before I get back to land. I'm not doing it.
There is, I got to say, there's one time back in band camp when I went to
you didn't play an instrument. You weren't in band camp. I went to band camp.
I was in Bora Bora in Tahiti, and I had one of those cabanas that was on the water. Mm-hmm. So you literally can walk out
and see
you can turn your light. Yeah, I mean, you can see everything. You're on it.
Yeah.
And they leave fins and stuff and snorkel things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you literally can
jump in.
I'm right in.
Right.
And you can see everything. You can see clearly to the bottom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about. I need to be able to see. Now, here's what was crazy.
I feel.
Here's what's crazy. I got in and snorkeled, right? But where we were located, there was the flat part, and then there's the reefs, right? Little reefs,
and then it goes,
and then
tips down,
right? And it went shoo straight down, not far out. Now you swim out to it. Yeah. So I tested the water. I said, let me just go out to the edge and peek. You know how you used to do.
Yeah.
I peeked. I looked down there. I was like, let's turn around.
No, that's where you get that. What's that? That megalodon?
Yeah. Yeah, they down there. Hey, man.
I can swim decent enough to survive. I'm not doing that. Don't even ask. I'm not doing that.
Jay, don't even dip.
I'm not trying to do that, man. I'm wearing a life vest. I don't even like doing that.
Did you swim more in Maryland or Minnesota?
I had to in Minnesota.
In Lake Minnetonka. You've been there.
No.
But Jay, real talk. Have you ever been parasailing?
No.
Okay, I've been parasailing.
Mm-hmm.
And
one thing they do in the parasail is they get you out there. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful, nice. You up there, you seeing area, and then they slow down, and they gonna dip you in the water, way out there somewhere, and you can't see. My vision in my mind is thinking about a shark looking out there. Strick is food.
Yeah.
They looking up
meat,
like
brouhaha.
Shark meat, brouhaha. They looking up at me like, yeah, and dropping right here. That good chocolate, I like that.
Like they have like the spray painted like bullseye, dropping you right in the middle.
I was trying to put my legs up, trying to pull.
Yeah.
Don't dip me. Yeah, I had to yell at people. Don't dip me in that water. I don't want to get dipped.
That's one life thing I'll pass on.
Will you parasail or bungee jump first?
See, I knew you was gonna ask that question. I'll
parasail
before
I'm
bungee.
not doing it.
Skydiving?
Negative.
You gotta be.
I'm too big, man.
What about like those like squirrel suits?
No, you're too big. Oh,
Like the
heck
way-
no.
Austin, you tripping?
He really
you
bugging.
watching it like they in the Rocky Mountains doing that.
He think he Mission Impossible.
Yeah, they got
No. I'm asking you guys because there's no shot I'm doing any of that. The
Look,
zip lining
Man,
is
you
extreme
catch a
enough
wind
for me.
gust, you going right in that side of that mountain. You just dead, man. I ain't
Right.
I got too
That's why
much
you
weight.
turn.
No, yeah, exactly.
Oh, bro.
You gotta practice for that.
Yeah, and I weigh.
You know,
I
you
weigh
can't do that
240
cold turkey. You can't just say, "Hey, we're gonna go up there, jump off this mountain, and we're
And
gonna
just
think."
float down.
Yeah, we recreate like we Superman.
Look, I'm telling you the truth. I know the facts of you got to get trained for that because they're not letting you go solo dolo. I just don't believe the parachutes can hold my 245 frame along with somebody else.
I thought you was down.
I am.
Yeah.
But that's still thickums.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't believe the parachute can handle that.
Last thing before we go to break, Ben says, I went swimming in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The amount of knuckleheads that jumped off the ship and found out that swimming in the open ocean is a heck of a lot different than swimming in a pool was astounding.
That's a fact. Now I need to know what that is. It is not easy.
Because you got the tide. You got to learn how to swim with the
current.
Yeah. You
and the
swim
waves.
You got to gas.
Facts.
Because swimming is hard anyway.
That part.
Just when you in like 6 feet.
Real quick before we go to break,
Austin.
Austin. What about those people? Have you seen those people where they have those tides rush up on cliffs?
Oh.
And they're standing on the cliff thinking everything is cool, and all of a sudden, and they get pulled out, and then they get sucked in, sucked out, sucked in, sucked out. No, sir.
Now do anything about
Stand
that.
too far back.
Yeah, you get blasted. You ever see people out there when they like in wedding parties and they get blasted?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Those beach weddings, destination weddings. Yeah.
Or the people watching tsunamis come in, standing there like,
this is Nebraska. We watch tornadoes. So I mean, what's the difference, really?
Yeah, that's to each his own. I mean, I think there's always a thrill for everybody out there. Like I said, man,
Not for me.
I went skiing a couple times. Yo, that pizza or whatever they say to do that, man, and I was like 255 pounds. I got cut
with
off.
ankles.
No, that was when they were good.
Okay.
But I got cut off. See, there you go. You think you funny.
No!
Yeah. See, now you Kevin Hart now?
No!
You Mike Epps over there? I seen you over there giggling. No, it's cool.
No, James.
You've been personal attack since
That's
I got
Dave
in here.
Strickell.
Nah, it's cool. You were Chancellor and Mikey Daniel think you funny. I got a hit list. Don't worry. 2025, I'm going to get you back, Jack. I can tell you that. You on the hit list. Matter of fact, this is it right here. Strictly is #1. Right here. Matter of fact.
Let's get out of here, man. Go.
I want everybody to see it.
Man. We go, man.
Stricky.
Yeah, we're
going Stricky. #1. You #1 draft pick right here. There goes Stricky right there.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation of National Geographic on 93.7 to take it back to regularly scheduled programming after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option. Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats, including Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Email Jake at theticketfm.com for more questions or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Early bird registration goes through April 20th and overall registration goes through May 30th.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
All right, you are on the same channel, but this is officially 93.7 Mistaken, not National Geographic. Welcome back. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman with you here for On the Block. Going to talk some NFL draft in this segment. If you want to watch the NFL draft, Jay, where can people watch it?
The NFL draft is tomorrow, and the place to watch it is at Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill, 27th and Jamie Lane in South Lincoln. 23 beers on tap, which we tapped a few of them when we were out there. A specific bar for high-end bourbon and spirits, which we also can definitely vouch for. 30 TVs showing the draft on most of the TVs, but also has MLB, golf when it's on, and much, much more. Enjoy their delicious wings, which we vouch for. And
the onion rings were hitting.
Yeah, so they were. Handheld sandwiches like the turkey melt, liquid gold hamburger, the Bull Market barbecue burger, and much, much more. And then also enjoy their brand new chocolate chip cookie skillet as well, which we got to get out there and get, man, because I love chocolate chips. Cookies. If you come in today, which is Wednesday, obviously enjoy Midweek Burger Bliss with $2 off the burger basket, stacked, saucy, and served with fries. Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill, 2755 Jamie Lane, just north of 27th and Yankee Hill in South Lincoln. I can tell you this, though, Liquid Assets is actually owned by my main man, Mike, and his partners. Really good service, really good atmosphere. It is a bona fide place to go, sports bar, and they take really good care of you. And then also have one of the best chefs in Lincoln
Chef
as
Dana.
well. Yep, which we had on Old School. So good out there, man, especially with the draft. You know, there's the potential of Nebraska players getting drafted early and more than maybe in years past. And then also the excitement of this year's draft with potential trades of veteran players being traded, teams trading up to get potentially franchise changing players. But everybody loves drama, and the NFL draft, I think, is going to have a lot of drama in it.
That's exactly where we're headed. The Browns, Giants, and Patriots are reportedly taking calls for the number 2, 3, and 4 picks in the NFL draft. Of those three teams, who should stay put? Who should trade out?
Who are you talking to?
Anyone.
Staying put. Oof. Well, it's twofold. You got to think the Giants need to stay put, and they have to hit because they got to keep their jobs. That's the GM and head coach. Now, if I'm one of them top players, I want to go number 3, but I don't know if I want to go to the Giants because whoever drafts you might not be there. I think the team that probably could move out of there the easiest because they feel like, and they have said that they have their franchise quarterback, would be New England because of Drake May. And, you know, it's projected that they're going to get the all-everything offensive tackle, Will Campbell, but you could get another comparable tackle a little bit later and maybe gain another first-round pick and really they got more holes to plug. Cleveland's interesting because they bring back Joe Flacco, which you could potentially, if he's healthy, I mean, obviously you've seen if he can stay healthy, and you know, with I think they got Judy and all those guys, you know, and then obviously you got Chubb coming back and in a better than average offensive line and a bona fide defense.
Njoku.
Yep, yeah, and Njoku, but Myles Garrett and company. You could see them moving out of it, but then also you don't want to move out of it and not think that we can get a lockdown corner like Travis Hunter or somebody like that. So everybody has a price tag, and even the number 1 pick. Now it looks like it's going to be Cam Ward, which it's amazing in itself. And
why is that amazing? Help your boy Stricky.
Well, I mean, I think he was,
like from where he's come from.
Yeah, where he's come from.
Okay.
He was phenomenal at Miami.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is they say he's obviously a little bit more athletic than Shador. I would say Shador is more pro ready.
Okay.
He's surgical with it. He's accuracy, and Cam Ward is too. But I just think being really, if you were that close to go to the playoffs, I say Shador is your pick. If you're looking to provide some excitement, run around, kind of like I think Cam Ward is a bigger and better version of Jeff Blake back when I played.
Okay.
I mean, there's guys comparable now, but I just go off what I remember when Jeff Blake came in. I think from East Carolina, could run, throw the deep ball, can keep plays alive, and is very exciting now.
I thought you was talking about the Maryland guard from
Steve Blake.
Steve Blake.
Hey,
Steve Blake.
Jeff Garcia, another quarterback.
Steve Blake would throw
he
them
can
hands
go
on
now.
you.
He can go. He
People
wasn't scared.
No.
People wanted Steve Blake to be the Maryland head coach.
But he would throw hands on you. He's from Miami, and he will throw hands, and no doubt about it. And he's surgical with them too. But I think Cam Ward, I think is kind of go along with what Tennessee might need. Maybe brash, and will provide some excitement. And as long as Cam Ward or the people that are with him stay out of the way, he'll be successful. From what I've been told. So as long as
you have people on the inside,
he has to, the thing about here's the difference between him and Shedeur for me. Cam Ward has to mature some, even though and I say he has to mature some, but I think he's very mature. I think he loves football. I think he wants to be the best he can be. I don't think you're gonna ever see him miss anything. But mature is some of the things you can't continue to do when you become a professional, and then you are the face of the franchise. Whereas Shedeur, I don't worry about anything like that.
There was a college coach that talked to Pete Thamel of ESPN who said, I would take him number 3 overall without a question about Shedeur Sanders. His coach said, I think he's tough. You can quote me on this. This is how strong I feel. He took 12 hits against us, 12 hits. There were 7 sacks. He's accurate, smart, sees coverages, can run if he has to. He's gone to 2 places that haven't won, and they won. Here's why, to me, he's the guy who can handle the spotlight in New York. He's the only person raised from childhood to know how to handle the spotlight. Who are some of the greatest ever quarterbacks in New York? Broadway Joe and Eli Manning. Shedeur was trained at the foot of his dad. He's got a completely different demeanor. The spotlight there is so large, I think he'll crush it. That college coach, Matt Rule.
Yeah, I mean, Matt coached in New York. I mean, it takes. Hey man,
it takes a special kind of person.
Hey man,
for sure.
I will never forget when we lost that playoff game and how they were talking to Eli. I was like, damn, they were like ravaging wolves on that because our cars were inside like this, our player parking lot. It was like in a cage. They were just like shaking the cages at him. Like if you're not mentally tough, if you're not confident and you're not a professional, New York will eat you alive, man.
I think you also on top. You're absolutely right too. I think there's a certain type of demeanor that you have to carry as well. Like you wanted to come across as confident but not arrogant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Especially there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it because they'll turn, especially if you're coming in the minute you show any there's
weakness,
no grace.
Yeah, once you start any weakness
Yeah.
or you're not all in on football, you are done dealing.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that really was a turnoff to a lot of people when Eli, where he's very like emotionless, he was just very like blah. That actually worked out for him because he was able to take the criticism and evaluate it, but then also now he's going down as one of the best in New York Giants history based on the 2 Super Bowls. He's a Tom Brady slayer, but he also knows where he came from. Where I think Shedeur, once you get past all the showing the watch and all that, like he has the right demeanor for it. And I think, obviously, growing up with his dad, he understands what it means. The biggest thing for me, if I'm sure Deion's talked to him about it, is in the things. I think Brian Dable's I think he's a good coach. I really do. I think he's the one that's really, he doesn't get enough credit for it, or maybe he should. Him and Roman took and really molded Josh Allen. They did, and it made him into a big part of what he is today. The GM, I think, is decent. I think he got a little bit over his skis and got a little bit cocky with the first time having power, and I'm assuming he learned. I mean, he did.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would make me apprehensive, but also know at the top, the Giants are it has one of the best owners in all the sports. So then, therefore, when you get drafted by the Giants, everything's A-okay versus Cleveland.
Right.
So the ultimate question is, all the mock drafts, kind of the ones that who out of the group that we kind of know is that in that 1 through 5, who drops, who falls in the draft out of that group? Or do you think it go as planned?
It never goes as planned.
Right?
I mean, the easy pick would be Shador. The bigger question is going to be
Carter
dominant.
with the shoulder.
Who's going to be? I think
Genty,
he
maybe?
has. I think he has the biggest bust potential. Carter.
Okay.
I think he does. He's
Okay.
a phenomenal athlete, but I think it's Michael Parsons was the next level guy. Even though he might wear 11 and show some traits, he's not Michael Parsons.
There's one Michael.
His motor's not the same.
Well,
as
no, it's
Michael.
just that you're just not him.
Not him.
Yeah, and that Michael Parsons was that dude, right? He has. I think Genty could drop, but I'm more interested to see who would be dumb enough to leapfrog Shador and lie to themselves and lie to their fans and take Jackson Dart. And I think Jackson Dart is a first round pick, but I think he's a first round pick, but I don't think he's better than Shador. I just don't. I've watched him, and I know that he's done some things, but also seen some things where he didn't look very good. I mean, he did a really good job of coming back and playing against Georgia. Coming back from when he got dinged up and playing better. But Georgia wasn't Georgia. Yeah, next week. Right?
Yeah, I think before we go to break, I think for me, I have to agree with you, and I also a partial agree with what the writer or Coach Rule said. I look at it from the standpoint of you had weak lines. Everybody said you couldn't ascend. You did so. In 2 years, you took your team to a bowl game, had success, and you didn't really have a line, and you were getting murked regularly. Now, part of the immaturity in which some people are saying, I can see, because you have to learn how to take what's going on and disseminate that without giving the information as if you're in conflict with the ones that's protecting you.
Right. 5703 says something similar. He says, I disagree to some regard about Shador being mature. Maybe on the field he's mature, but probably not overall. And there's a difference between being immature and having to learn.
I push back on that. I think he's extremely mature off the field because he has no off the field problem. What he chooses to do with his money and social media, that's how he was able to pay. That's why he was not having to take money from Collective by doing that. That's all planned. So it lets you know he's already a professional. It's almost an act so he can get paid from national advertisement and not take from the Collective.
And with that, Jay, it's very similar to who Dennis Rodman is.
Right.
Because look, to know him off, Dennis he's quirky, but he's actually a cool dude. And he's misunderstood.
Same with Dion.
And so, yeah.
I mean, Dion, the true Dion that who he is the one that's efficient. Now, sure, he's confident and probably some, by definition, maybe arrogant, but he ain't lying. When Dion tells you I'm the best corner ever and one of the best defensive players ever, he ain't lying. Now, the only thing that is a little concerning to me in it, but I think there's some bias coming out of that report by the one meeting that Shador had with the team. It's twofold. This is the problem you get, and I guarantee it's an older coach and an older person. You can't control players anymore. So just because you're giving them criticism and they're pushing back, that doesn't mean that he's a bad kid or a bad dude. That's exactly what it was. We've been there. You go, and I'll never forget one with the Tennessee Titans. You go in there, it's essentially a job interview, and they're trying to push your buttons to bring out the worst in you. Well, then what's the point of even having me out here and doing it? Because that obviously was on a 30 visit, when the 30, pre-draft visit, where you wasted your time, money, and resources for an outcome that you already had predetermined. Now, could he have handled it better? Sure. And not be engaged, but he probably thought a lot of these teams will bring him in.
But immaturity is a pattern. Sometimes you just make a mistake.
Sure.
Sometimes you're just young.
Yeah. And you know what? Probably think, and this is where I'm saying he's very mature. This is where you're immature for the whole thing of it. And I had to learn it when I, got traded from Buffalo, is that it probably was a team that has no intention of drafting him. None. And that's what they'll do. So he knows they got a starter at quarterback and they know who the backup is. So
they would take him if he failed, I bet you.
They would, but in reality,
that's what's crazy. Sometimes it's
but
that.
in reality is, and that's where his immaturity is, right? That's what we're saying, right? You got to look. You got to interview the same with the number 1 pick and the number 32 pick.
Yeah.
So, but he's probably thinking they ain't gonna draft me, this, and this, and all that, and probably heard some stuff before. So that's where he's got to learn. It's a learning process. But you know what? The way Deion Sanders kid, you're always gonna be up for it. You know they can't say he don't know football, what they usually always say.
Right.
Now they gotta say he got bad attitude.
Yeah.
They ain't saying that about Jackson Dart though. Because if you read the tea leaves, he got some activity off the field. Now it's good activity, but you up in some sorority houses late at night. What's that? I would say, well, what's the difference, right?
There's something
because that
that's
means
something you got to consider.
Judgment is judgment.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's based on when you want to do it. So they'll all be successful, and it's all going to depend on the offensive line anyway, so it don't matter.
Right.
I mean, just think about what people, I know we got to go, but think about what people would say about like even Marshawn Lynch. Right? But if you know Marshawn Lynch,
Richard Sherman,
you know he's not,
Marshawn Lynch
just
was
different.
a thug rug in Buffalo. And when you think about what really was the deal for him to get out of Buffalo, when they leave, it was the other person. Now look at him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right? Go to Pete Carroll.
Sometimes, sometimes that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's, it's you got to look internally, but if you look externally and you don't see a bunch of foolishness going around, then all you see, it's the same as how they project, like you said earlier, certain countries. They project them on TV.
Yeah.
If you look at how some of the people project Africa, it looked like everybody got flies, but there's actually really beautiful sea. I mean, and so I'm saying that to say perception becomes reality to the beholder of what they are teleporting or putting on a channel to your mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
Eastrick, Jay, Austin, short one to wrap up hour 1 of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Keep summer green with Judson Buyouts and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100, or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back very briefly here to wrap up hour one of On the Block. We'll talk some NBA playoffs and some Huskers in hour number 2 of the show. Got a text on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line from Cubsker, one of our favorites here. He says, I have a terrible gut feeling that TJ Watt is going to get traded.
Man.
I have not heard any of those rumors. That would be...
Well, that's the problem.
The quiet ones?
No, you can't trade TJ Watt.
Y'all's couldn't trade Luke
Well,
Doncic.
hey.
TJ Watt's less untouchable than Luka.
Is TJ Watt up for a new contract? They can't do that, man. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't trade TJ Watt. You just can't. You can't. There's no way. No way. He probably got no trade clause.
Last year of his deal.
I know he wants a new contract.
He's 31.
Pittsburgh don't do that. They ain't trading him. It wouldn't surprise. Who would you, man?
I can think about 31 other teams in the NFL who would like to have a TJ Watt on their team. Now, Indy was looking at Hendrickson for Anarumo. Would Indy go in for TJ Watt and give him a new deal?
Would he go? That's the more important thing. I mean, that defense is around. No, that's not Mike Tomlin. I mean, unless he says, I'm done playing here and asking for a crazy amount of money.
Well, they're going to have to make decisions sooner or later because the good thing is it depends on, I think, where they go in this draft. Because they've got enough right now. Let me just hold on. Let me make sure I'm clear. Who do they keep as a quarterback?
The Steelers? Right now, they don't really have one.
Okay.
Fields is gone.
Okay.
Wilson's gone.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was clear in my mind on that. So, Jay, to me, the decision is going to come who they draft or who falls to them because they missed with your boy, Kenny Pickett. So now you've missed that cycle.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to draft someone, and you've got 1 to 2 years to observe. And then you're going to have to make a decision. Do we need to bring in and trade? Because at that point, that's the window you got if you're going to keep TJ Watt. Otherwise, you're going to have to make a decision about him because I think you've got too much going on, because eventually Pickens is going to come up. They got to make a decision, which I don't think they'll keep. I think they'll probably let him go on. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if I'm them, if Aaron Rodgers is still him hanging around, I mean, obviously I would sign TJ Watt to a deal, I don't know, 8-year deal, but it's generally 3. Come on, Austin.
Man.
What do you mean?
He's an 8-year deal for guys 31?
Yeah, because it's only the next 3 years. It's essentially the signing bonus that year, the next year, and then it's up in the air after that. The last 5 years don't mean anything. It's just spreading out the money. So you got salary cap relief.
Yeah, that's how they do
But
that.
then when he retires and you're still paying him.
He ain't retiring at 33.
Not playing until he's 39 either.
Austin, NFL, you're thinking NBA contracts.
Yeah. Their
NFL
contracts
contracts, them 10-year contracts.
They're
you know how many times Patrick Mahomes have reworked his contract?
Oh, a lot of times. Yeah.
Right. So that's all you're doing. So if he's
still
performing at 33, he'll get another contract. So the next 5 years doesn't matter. The reason why I signed him to 8 might have been too much. A 6-year contract, 7-year contract is to spread it out. You don't have to cut him. So then, but what I was about to say, if you have to sign Aaron Rodgers to, let's say, in between 20 million, you're just fine, and you can still get guys, in the secondary market, free agency.
Front load Rodgers, back load Watt.
Yes, because Rodgers is just like 1 year
deal.
Yeah,
1 year with a team out, just like with the Jets, right? Or you decide to do this. Okay, Pickens, you played at Georgia, right? You like Georgia. Seems like you play better down there. Yeah, get your butt up out of here. We're gonna trade you to Atlanta for Kirk Cousins. And here, now you'll have to work out the money thing with Atlanta. They want to get rid of him, so they're willing to pay. So now you're below what you would have to do for Rodgers. You know what I mean? Now you got him. Now you can still draft Shador, even if you trade up. So now you got the present and the future. 2 years of Kirk Cousins, Shador knocks him out of the box. You got Russell Wilson and that one guy they got from Green Bay. Like that. Got the Hall of Famer back in TJ Watt. You got a go-between with Kirk Cousins, who's willing to come there and play. He wants to start still. And if he's healthy, which he wasn't last year, you're going to get a better version. And then you'll be able to draft a quarterback, Shador, whoever you want.
I think systems work for Kirk Cousins, and I know we got to go to break. And systems work. I think the play action system, if you get him a good run game with Kirk Cousins, works fine.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't have to just pocket watch. But if you got a good run game with Kirk Cousins, his arm is good enough, accurate enough that he can make plays.
Running back draft, you can get a starter in the 4th round.
Right. Yeah, I can see what you're saying, Jay.
NFL draft kicks off tomorrow. NBA playoffs in full swing. We'll talk some NBA playoffs before some Husker chatter with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald in hour 2.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a high near 73. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely with a low near 56. Tomorrow, showers and storms continuing throughout the day with a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in hour 2 of On the Block. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland with you. Brought to you by who?
The Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop. 84th and Havelock, 30th Yankee Hill, 85th and Old Cheney / Andre Matt, and 168th and Maple up there in the O.
Bang. Mike Breen style. Speaking of Mike Breen, let's talk some playoff basketball. It's a really interesting series of tweets and subsequent article from Sportico. Lev Akabas was the man who wrote the article here, talking about just how different the NBA postseason is from the regular season. He brought up 5 key points. Number 1 is the pace slows down. Teams shoot more threes. Teams make fewer threes. There's more isolation offense, and there are more fouls called in the postseason than the regular season. This is a data study.
They letting them bump and grind, it looked like to me. That's it. You know, it looked like
that Timberwolves game.
It looked like some bumping and grinding.
Here's the more fouls section. The aggressive postseason defense that limits transition opportunities and shots around the basketball, forcing teams out of their offensive sets, does come to cost more fouls. The notion that the refs let them play in the playoffs hasn't historically been true. The percentage of 2-point shots that yield free throws was higher in the postseason than the regular season in 19 of the first 22 years since 2000. Notably, the past 2 years, or exceptions.
There we go.
In the 22-23 regular season, the foul rate on shot attempts inside the arc skyrocketed as refs gave offensive players more leeway to initiate contact. In the 2023 playoffs, though, officials swallowed their whistles more and brought that rate back to normal. So when you guys hear those 5 factors, the pace slows, teams shoot more threes, teams make fewer threes, there's more isolation offense, and there are more fouls. Which of those 5 factors do you think is the most important for a team to try to manage in a playoff run?
What do you mean try to manage? Let me make sure I'm
Which is, I guess, the easiest or the hardest to adjust to. The pace of play, worse shooting, more isolation, and different efficiency.
All right. I'm going to say 3-point shooting, because those windows close down that used to be bucket net cat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Those close down. Those windows go down quickly. Pace of play is another one, because it's all about possession, execution, and getting the best out of each possession, maximizing that. Whereas there's a lot more freedom, you get down big, it can snowball very quickly. Here's why. You're tossing up tight window threes, tougher shots, not executing, and the other team is, or they're taking advantage of your mishaps, mistakes, turnovers, not being able to handle the physicality. And they're taking that advantage. So now 10, 15-point leads turn into 20, 30-point leads, and you're still trying to fire up, and they snowball, hence Memphis type stuff, right? Okay. Last, I think, is the run them to me again.
The 5 categories were pace of play, taking more threes, making fewer threes.
Okay, same.
More isolation offense.
There we go. That one.
And more fouls.
Okay, the isolation part, and it's all encompassed. That comes from game strategy preparation, knowing that we're going at him. We're going at him.
No, sir.
Everything we do is designed to get me to you. And it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's the third guy, the second guy, the fifth guy, whoever it is. If it's a big guy and it's you, we taking you to the block, my boy. If it's Kyrie, or we taking you to
deep water.
We taking you to Handle Island. You know what I mean? I'm about to, give you the mix mash, squish squash, who's gosh. You know what I'm saying? So we got all this going on. That's where that comes from. The isolation is, yes, it's isolation, but it comes from we're hunting Luka. Now, your key is to adjust. How are we going to adjust coverage? Are we going to run guys at them? Are we going to blitz? So shout out to the Lakers. They adjusted. They made adjustments, and hence they got a dub. So now we're going to see what the adjustment of the next one is, because it's always an adjustment.
Game,
Right. Go ahead. And even quarter, half by half.
Yeah, half by half. Yeah.
But most don't do it in the halves and in the quarters. They kind of play it out. They stick with it. Some makes minor adjustments. But it's definitely when the game, you'll see some adjustments.
You get those 2 days of travel and a day practice or whatever. I think for me, it's just more the pace of play, and I say / style is different. I think that throws everybody.
Some people off.
Yeah, I think it I think last year threw OKC off. I think
I agree. The physicality part,
right? But they learned from it.
They did.
Now they look like they ain't forgot.
Pause.
Yeah.
I like where you at, Jay, but I want to take you even back before that, because whatchamacallit learned and then ends up winning the championship, Boston. Because the year before that, they got that.
State. Yeah,
they got beat up and banged up. It's a learning lesson.
You go all the way back to Detroit against Chicago.
Yep.
And learn how to play off basketball is different. I think, but then also I think the way that they play in the regular season is so much closer to like pick up AAU basketball than you really, and then also you're focused on one team for potentially, or at least for 4 games. So then everything becomes tight. So you're not going to be able to get your secondary fast break or your run outs as easy because everything means more. But then also the style of play too.
Mhm.
Whereas like you're able to say somebody comes out real hot, or say like McDaniels the first game, right? Well, now we see where his spots are. Now we're going to start running you specifically off of there because it's going to mess you up, which then messes your offense up. Then therefore it messes up everything that you're trying to do on both ends of the floor.
Is it good, bad, or indifferent that playoff basketball is noticeably different than regular season basketball?
I'm gonna be short, strict. You go. I think it doesn't matter if it was the 80s, 90s. It's always different. I mean,
it's always been different. It's definitely different.
You could get down the middle of the lane on a WGN when it was Chicago against Detroit or Chicago against Philly with Rick Mahorn. He might let Brown or something like that, or BJ Armstrong get down and make one. Oh no. In the playoffs, you going straight to the rafters. And it's not just some of the time, every single time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's always
a way to try to create
it's no different than football.
That's going to be my next question. Is playoff football different than regular season football?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I saw it firsthand. I always talk about Kurt Schultz, and he sat next. So it was Ted Washington, an empty seat, me, and I sat next to Kurt Schultz. Ted Washington, it was Mount Washington, a mountain of a man. Kurt Schultz looked like he worked at the library. Seriously.
Yeah.
He looked like Paul Finbaum, had the side here, and he didn't say he kept the sides, was bald up there. Remember, he gave me a ride home as a rookie. He had a Subaru hatchback with 2 baby seats in the back. And I threw my backpack back there on the baby seat. And he played at like Eastern Washington. Kurt was, always in shape, really nice guy. And he's like, me and him talked all the time. But then he's like, I got kids and wife at home. We got in that playoff game, and Eddie George came around there tripping. Kurt Schultz came out the middle of the field. We rock him steady. You made him give it up. And I was in the hits.
Oh,
hey, when you playing, it's just different. The speed is different. The intensity is different. You're hyper focused because once you make the playoffs, they have people up there to kind of project where you're going to play or who you're going to play. So you start to like practice and start to focus on them, even though you play, so-and-so in that week 17, like when Indy would be already having closed out the AFC. I've seen it where they're resting Peyton and them. Peyton and them were already practicing on whoever they were going to potentially play in the home game. And so them hits is serious. I mean, they trying to take you out like cold blooded.
So in that case, sounds like you guys are saying a bunch of that difference is just inherent. It's always going to be there because you're guaranteed 17 games in the NFL, 82 in the NBA versus 1. You're guaranteed 1 in the playoffs. You're guaranteed 4 in the playoffs, no more, no less. Is there anything these leagues can do to make the regular season feel more like the postseason, or is it healthy that these two feel different, right? Should the postseason reward more of the same traits that the regular season does? Or is it good that teams have to adjust after a certain point in the schedule?
I mean, I think they have to figure out a way to make it entertaining. They've got to figure out a way to maybe create some kind of a bonus system, meaning where you sit at the halfway mark, first half player of the year.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But create something that gives them an incentive, a means by which to go just as hard as you do on the first half than you do on after. Because it seems like things start ramping up and crescendoing after All-Star break. Right? It's the same thing, I think, for baseball. I think you've got to figure out something because yes, your super fans like yourself, Austin, love baseball. But then the casual fans, that's what you need in order for your viewerships to go and be worthy of the payments from the broadcasters. And they have to figure that out. And I think that's collectively in all sports, because otherwise it gets quite boring. Now, what makes things like the Olympics like a lot of people are very similar like that with track and field, right? You don't really go and watch all these Diamond League, But the world championships and soccer, outside of the Liga championship now that they got going on, the World Cup, there's these crescendos to it, and you don't really kind of pay attention until that starts. So you've got to try to create. I'm sorry, I'm off.
No, you're good.
I just wanted to set the foundation for
maybe they tried to do that with the in-season tournament. I think I like what Strick's talking about, to start handing out some awards for the first part of the season. Now you're gonna have to push up the All-Star game to make sure it's the halfway point versus like the 3/4 of the way. But also, I think sometimes you'll see some stuff spark off in the regular season based on what happened in the playoffs. So I think the biggest thing is you got to make sure everything's more competitive when it really means something. So, I think you see it sometimes in the NFL and where it's like the first couple of weeks is kind of extension of preseason. But I think you start to really hand out some awards and make it more financially more incentive. And then also maybe you try to do something where you reseed, the AFC or NFC or something somehow, some way. So just because you're like, remember when Seattle was 7-9, they beat New Orleans? Well, okay, you're at the halfway part or whatever. You're, 4-8. Well, yeah, you might make the playoffs, but even if you win this division, you going on the road. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Okay.
Or in football,
or pick your opponent. I love the idea of picking your opponent.
That Jay, real quick. I want to ask you a question.
You can't play multiple games.
Yeah,
I want to ask you a question across the board because I don't want it to go before time. Do you think that rivalries has been lost, which has minimized what we're talking about, and it's made it just kind of have just?
I think
what I mean?
I think
they used to have that.
I think let's just take basketball. They play so many games in high school and the AAU, and they all play together because you get kids that'll be living in California but play on a team on the East Coast, and they'll fly them out there and play. So the competitive nature isn't there. Like it means something. And it was a big deal when all those John Sally and Edwards and all them went from Detroit to Chicago, and that was all based on ownership, what they did with Chuck Daly back in the day. So they were like, oh, you diss Chuck Daly? We out. We would never go to Chicago, but now we're going. I remember when I learned of what it's like to play I always saw Buffalo and Miami on ESPN. I remember when they had a safety named Louis Oliver for the Dolphins, and he would score. He went 100 yards or something, and he kind of danced the whole way and, got, throwing snowballs at him. But then when we were playing Miami and I was on Buffalo and I was a rookie, and Thurman Thomas addressed the team. He's like, this is personal. We hate them. They hate us. Prepare accordingly. Like, I don't think those type of I don't think those
that exist.
I don't think that exists anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that you would I don't think it's a big deal to go from like Kevin Durant to go from, and this is nothing against Kevin Durant, go from OKC to there, because they just want to get what they can get and then they done playing. Whereas like it'd be hard for Patriots really didn't have a rival. Like it was a big deal from James Harrison to go to Patriots. It was a huge deal. It messed up some, or when Ray Allen left to go to that's personal. That's probably gone now. But that'll spark some stuff up, man.
Stricky, check the YouTube stream real quick.
We gotta get some fights that at halftime, right?
Is that your boy? Is he chimed in? He locked in?
Is that him?
Who is that?
Nico, look on the stream.
Shout out if that's my guy. If it's my guy, hopefully nobody trolling. Shout out Nico. But
Nico Harrison?
Yeah, that's my guy. I told you that was my guy.
I know it is.
But let's stay on topic, because here's the thing. I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right that these don't happen anymore, because for me, like for example, Kobe and what Kobe did to Pau Gasol,
run through his chest in 08
and ran through him like you just another sucker on the street.
Yeah, and I had to do it for
and that's my
purpose.
Man, right?
Right.
That don't exist anymore.
No.
Because you know why? Because if that was the case, your boy wouldn't be a bronzexual. And that's Draymond Green. You know what I'm saying? Like if you Draymond, like Y'all rivals in the same conference.
Same division.
Same division. I'm trying to run through your chest.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they like super homeboys. And that's okay to be cool.
But they weren't, though.
Well, but they are now.
Did the NBA make the same? I think I remember hearing the NBA did the same thing as MLB too, where they took away a game or two against your division so that you would go to every other arena in the opposite conference. So I know baseball took away 6 games against each divisional opponent so that now you play everyone every year instead of rotating through, which on the one hand I understand because yes, you do want, for example, fans in Kansas City to see Shohei Ohtani, right? That's going to happen at the end of June. But on the other hand, you can eat leftovers for 3 days, but you see a team a fourth time, you hate the leftovers for the fourth day.
Yeah.
Just that one extra game, sometimes it does carry that extra emotional impact. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Interesting.
There's a lot there, a lot to dive into. When we get back there, we're going to talk some Husker baseball, some Husker football with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Huskers shut out by Kansas at Hawks Field last night. We'll recap that, get some spring football headlines from Evan ahead of the Husker games coming up.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
12 for all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman. Learn how the game of youth football has grown in and around the capital city with coaches, athletic directors, and league commissioners telling you all about it. It's all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman every Saturday from 11 to noon right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We've got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville has experienced hail damage, and there's never been a better time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. The hail was very spotty, some pretty light, others heavier, but there are huge discounts right now happening at Koppel. So please do not wait. Get thousands of additional discounts along with 0% APR. There will be a lot of people heading this way to purchase vehicles. So stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Hour 2 of On the Block rolls along. It is 4:30 on a Wednesday, which means we're headed to our VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We go there now. We welcome in the Omaha World Herald's Evan Bland. Evan, you got the nice night for baseball last night. Thank goodness. Looks like today would be a little more dangerous for the boys of summer.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm glad they get a couple of days here, and I'm not sure what the weather's like in Maryland this weekend, but it's getting a little better every day.
A prominent college basketball writer has long referred to College Park, Maryland, as the spring break capital of the Northeast. I'm not sure I would agree with that. Have you ever visited College Park?
Yeah, I went in 2019, I think it was, when Nebraska football was out there and blew out the Terps. I actually got to see the baseball field that night. It was a rainy night, and the rumors of their park being like a lot smaller than maybe what it's listed at, I think are probably true. Rumor has it some teams have sort of have taken it upon themselves to measure some of the dimensions, and maybe it's no surprise some of the power numbers that the Terps have had over the years. But no, it's a cool area, and you're kind of near DC and all kinds of stuff over there. So it's a fun place.
That Maryland football game, was that was a Ramir Johnson game, wasn't it? Didn't you have a big one that night?
Yep, Ramir Johnson had a big night. I think Luke McCaffrey caught a pass. And, it was a pretty empty stadium by the end. That was one of those rare Nebraska blowout wins in the Scott Frost era. That's
like 54-7, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, kind of an old school blowout.
See, I'm trying to think. Yeah, not many of those, like you said, in the Scott Frost era or since then. But we'll talk some more football coming up here in just a minute. Doing to talk some Husker baseball with you. They take 2 out of 3 from Northwestern. They sweep the doubleheader, but they lose Friday night. Satisfactory result for the Huskers, good enough result for the Huskers, or I know we talked last week, that was when they might have had their eye on a sweep. Just judging by how the weekend went, how do you judge it there, Evan, the Huskers weekend against Northwestern?
Yeah, I mean, you get a passing grade, probably, a C, maybe, D+, just because, and maybe that sounds a little harsh, but statistically, Northwestern's been struggling, and they're still ahead of Nebraska in the standings, so you credit them for finding a way. But I mean, just their staff, pitching wise, they didn't have a ton of depth. They essentially used 2 weekend starters to get that win on Friday, and so Nebraska, to its credit, comes back Saturday and sweeps the doubleheader and gets the extra long Easter weekend, which works out. But when you're at this point in the year, we haven't won very many weekends, especially in the Big Ten. You get a home series against a team like the Wildcats that haven't been into the Big Ten tournament in like 8 years. Like, that's a chance you just feel like you need to sweep that and make up some ground. So you win the series, and I think that's sort of the mantra for Nebraska the rest of the way. If you can keep winning weekends, you'll be playing in that league tournament in Omaha in late May, and then everything else kind of sorts itself out from there. You'll see where they stand from an RPI perspective. So you absolutely couldn't afford to lose the series. They did find a way to win it, but I think just the way that Friday game played out, where it was tied late and Northwestern found a way to sort of muscle a low slider into the outfield and get a win when maybe the offense could have done a little bit more, was somewhat disappointing. But again, if they continue to stack winning weekends here moving forward, they're right on the line right now in that trying to finish in the top 12, then, ultimately maybe that's something that'll work out for them.
Maybe you've done the research, maybe you haven't, Evan. So if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. Nebraska's Big Ten schedule moving forward, of course, this weekend at Maryland, then home series against Minnesota, Michigan, and then Purdue. When you look at teams that are in the same sort of range as Nebraska in that 7-11, 8-10, 9-9 sort of mark, is Nebraska's schedule conducive to the Huskers moving up compared to the others, or do some of those other teams in that conversation have a similarly light-looking schedule?
Well, I guess I couldn't tell you how hard everyone else's schedule is the rest of the way, but what I can say is of those teams that you mentioned, and Nebraska's got the 4 weekends left, nobody in there is higher than, I believe, 10th in the current standings right now. So you think about the teams that they've gotten out of the way, Iowa, who's still atop the league, UCLA, which remains ranked, Washington and USC are having decent seasons. So they've gotten a lot of the tougher part of their league schedule done. And now is that chance to make up some of that ground. Minnesota and Michigan are both in Lincoln, and, Maryland hasn't won a Big Ten series yet this year. So that's a program that sort of was the class of the Big Ten for the last handful of seasons, and they've fallen off under a new coaching regime and after some of their top guys have moved on. So this is kind of the point in the season. This feels like sort of the return on investment point in the year for Nebraska, where you think about how difficult they scheduled in the non-conference, logistically how tough that was with their swing through California and some of the road midweeks that followed up, road weekends. Now's the time when you do get a run of home games here after Maryland. You have a couple home weekends in a row with home midweeks. That should be where your guys are battle tested. You kind of have a sense of who you can trust, and you can start running off some wins as the weather heats up and the crowds get bigger and the stakes become a little bit more defined for what they want to be for Nebraska down the stretch. I think even some individual players you can throw in that group. I mean, what we saw, Ty Horn has been somebody who's sort of come along as the season's come along. Jackson Brockett has shown some signs of late. The offense, Tuesday notwithstanding, has generally been trending upward. So, that's kind of what you want. When you schedule as tough as Nebraska did this year, it's not going to necessarily be about a gaudy win-loss record, but if you can finish the year hot and you've won enough games to keep that RPI competitive, then ultimately that's the payoffs here yet to come. And I think it's in front of Nebraska if they have it in them to make a run.
You mentioned last night's game just very briefly. What did go wrong for the Husker offense that was that momentary downturn from the ascension it's been making recently?
I'm not going to be too harsh on it, to be honest with you. I mean, Kansas, that's a team that could well be hosting a regional in a month and a half. That's a team that could win the Big 12 this year with the way that they're going. And you look at some of Nebraska's numbers. Yeah, they didn't score, but they really didn't strike out all that much. The pitching did a good job limiting their own free passes. You give up 4 runs to a team like that, you think you should probably be able to compete. And then, you watch the game, and Nebraska did have a number of hard hit balls. They kept Kansas in the ballpark, which has been pretty rare. That's a team with more than 80 home runs from what they're doing in their lineup. So I think it's just one of those games that it just didn't happen to go Nebraska's way. And it's unfortunate in the sense that was another missed opportunity to boost that RPI. Now they're back outside the top 80. So you're right on the line now of pretty much just needing to make the conference tournament and needing to make a run. It's not totally out of the question that they could get hot and maybe spruce up that RPI to make things interesting next month, but you start missing on too many more of these opportunities, and your only recourse is really just to get into that conference tournament and go deep into it.
And the loss last night probably isn't as painful because Nebraska, of course, went on the road and won in Lawrence, but that's maybe part of the downside too, right, Evans? That Nebraska found a way to get it done on the road. It's more unfortunate than anything they couldn't, it would have been a sweep of the midweek series, right, with the Jayhawks that they gotten it done last night, correct?
Yeah, it would have been. And the irony is, that game in Lawrence, I think Kansas fans would probably tell you that they played better that night, Nebraska used a whole bunch of pitchers and wriggled out of some jams. And I think you could probably argue Nebraska, played as well, quite honestly, last night as they did in their win. And Kansas pitchers just, they found a way this time. So it's probably a slight net positive for Nebraska when you talk about what that 2-game series means for them in the grand scheme of things. But it really does now just sort of emphasize again the importance on winning conference weekends and moving up those Big Ten standings, because the midweek record really won't matter much at all if you can't be playing into that conference tournament here in late May.
Nebraska now 41 games into its season, just those handful of weekends left. Evan, what's the identity of this Nebraska team? What's going to carry them through these next few weekends, and if everything breaks right for the Huskers, into the Big Ten tournament?
Well, I think the Northwestern series maybe showed a little bit of a blueprint of what that could be. I mean, you're going to need, I think, a little more length from your starting rotation. Will Walsh has tended to be that guy. He wasn't that guy on Friday, just didn't have his best stuff in a short outing. But I think, if Ty Horn and Jackson Brockett can give you what they gave last week, going 5, missing some bats, setting up the bullpen to where Nebraska can make the moves that they want in the innings that they want, that's a good place to start. And then I think on the offensive side, for this lineup for a couple of years now, really it's been about the run producers and are they able to generate some quick offense. I think we've seen they can get guys on base. Sometimes they struggle with the clutch hits, but the thing that negates the need for some of those clutch hits is instant offense and the long ball. And we've seen some of that when Kim Swanson's going, Nebraska looks pretty good. When Max Butenbach or Cale Frost are going, or Joshua Overbeek is hitting taters, like that's when you know that the Huskers are in a good place and they don't necessarily have to string together 3 hits and sort of grind out runs as they so often have had to do. So I think that's probably where I start is can the rotation give you enough length to maximize what the bullpen is? And then are you going to have enough from your run producers to take advantage of so many table setters that they have in that lineup?
Talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Let's switch gears to football for a few questions here, Evan. We heard Matt Rule talk about kind of the format for Saturday, right? Live football being reintroduced to not the spring game, but the Husker games, of course. And he said they know Dylan Raiola and Jalen Gramstad would be the quarterbacks that really wouldn't receive the reps. Those are the top 2 quarterbacks for Nebraska right now. When you hear Jalen Gramstad's the backup, that means like freshman TJ Lateef is still a developmental project. Even Marcos Davila after transferring in from Purdue. What do you make of Jalen Gramstad as the backup? And then which of the other guys are you maybe excited to get your eyes on and see spin it a little bit on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a surprise that it's Gramstad just because he's such a veteran. I mean, he had a lot of success at the NAIA level. He was someone that Dylan Raiola went out of his way to say, hey, we'd like to have you back next year. Somebody who's, I think, helped teach the younger quarterback a few things about the college game. And you think about some of those other guys. I mean, Lateef is an early enrollee, a ton of talent from the state of California, but someone who's just learning the offense. And Davila's kind of the same deal. I mean, he redshirted for a year at Purdue, but hasn't had any real meaningful college experience to this point. He's learning a new system with a new coordinator as well. So I think, it just kind of makes sense that the guys who learned under Holgorsen last year, who have been part of the program, would be among those leaders. It's a shame in a sense because I'd love to see what Jalen Gramstad looks like in Nebraska's offense with some of their skill players. And, ideally for Nebraska's sake, you wouldn't have to see that in a game of consequence, or that would probably mean that Raiola's hurt. But, I think it speaks to their confidence in him that they don't need to see anything more from him in this kind of setting, right? Rule kind of set that tone a week ago when he said the guys that are playing in this game primarily are going to be guys with something to prove, whether that means moving up the depth chart, making the 105, trying to create film as potential transfers in the future. So I think it's a signal that they have some confidence in Gramstad. And, I do think it'll be interesting to see some of those younger guys get out there and do their thing. I mean, Lateef came from a a powerhouse program at the high school level, played against some high caliber competition, and Davila himself's a former 4-star kid. So it'll be, everyone's first chance to really see them in a competitive live action setting. And I think sometimes you can learn what a guy's made of too when there is a crowd. It's not a controlled practice environment as much. And, maybe we'll come away with a few nuggets that we can take with us into next year.
Matt Rule also said yesterday, or whenever, I think it was yesterday when he spoke, he was talking about the offense and Dana Holgorsen, what he was brought in to do. Matt Rule, unprompted, brought up how Nebraska's explosive play rate was closer within the ballpark of some teams in the college football playoff, but that their regular down-to-down efficiency wasn't necessarily that great. And that didn't really jive with what I think a lot of Husker fans had thought about the Dana Holgorsen hire, Evan, and that the Dana Holgorsen move was about raising the ceiling of the offense. Can you get more explosive, generate more big plays? But it seems like Matt Rule's thought process in bringing Dana Holgorsen is obviously you don't turn those down, but that Nebraska just has to get better at doing the simple things more consistently, staying on schedule more often than it's getting behind schedule. With that in mind, what do you think is that next step, the next progression for this Husker offense in a full year now under Dana Holgorsen?
Well, I think there's been a lot of emphasis on situational football. We've heard about that on the defensive side. I think that's true for the offensive side too. Third downs, can you be in third and manageable? Can you execute a lot of the simple things? I mean, people that watch Nebraska know through the years, sometimes it can look really hard to execute a screen or a swing pass or just some of the basic stuff that you see executed elsewhere. I think in the limited open practices that I've been able to see, there's an emphasis on that execution, on just making the simple stuff simple and not, letting that be the thing that beats you. I mean, you think about some of Nebraska's tougher games through the years. I think about the UCLA game last year. I mean, that was a team that wasn't doing anything overly exotic, that wasn't overly talented. They were just steady, man. I mean, they executed on third downs and they took advantage of mistakes. And that's the kind of offense Nebraska hasn't been in a long time. It feels like it's been a lot of boom or bust. And we'll see if they can create some bigger plays. I think the skill players around Raiola and Raiola himself will have something to say about maybe hitting a few more home runs, so to speak, than they did in the past. But I just think it's about consistency, reliability, and kind of knowing what your bread and butter is in a big spot. Like you think about one of the big tasks that Holgorsen has undertaken since he's been here, and he's said it, and Rule has said it, is trying to pare down that playbook and limit that menu, so to speak, so you can specialize in a handful of plays instead of trying to be good at a whole bunch and kind of not mastering any of them. So I think that's kind of what they're working on at this point. They're trying to cater it to their personnel and work to their strengths. And I think if at the end of next year, you can point to certain strengths that Nebraska has and certain areas that it excels in, man, I think you'd be ahead of what we've seen from the offense for quite a few seasons now.
And let's flip that to the defense quick before we let you go, Evan. It seemed like the defense had a pretty high floor under Tony White, and it feels like they moved in a little more boom or bust direction, right? Nebraska wouldn't say that, but the word we've heard quite a bit about John Butler and the way that he coaches and the way his scheme is set up is that it's an aggressive scheme, which I think pretty inherently leads to more of that boom or bust. How do you think that's going to work out for Nebraska? On the one side, you have the offense trying to get more consistent, be more reliable, stay on schedule, versus a defense that seems like it's trying to go the opposite way and raise the ceiling instead of raise the floor.
Yeah, I think that there's certainly an emphasis on increasing the takeaways, right? Matt Rule kind of described it. 23, they were horrific, and he said last year they were better, but still bad. I mean, he can roll off the statistic that Nebraska hasn't been plus in turnover margin since 2016, and I think it's pretty easy to see that coincides with a lot of losing seasons and frustration, and it really narrows that margin for error when you're playing even or at a disadvantage to opponents in terms of the possessions you have and the short fields that sets up. So I think you start there. And, I think the other piece that John Butler's been pretty clear about is playing situational football, kind of the same thing that we said on offense, where third down, yes, you're going to have your base looks, but I think Nebraska too is preferring to move toward a defense where it can be a little bit more exotic on those third downs. It can bring some blitzes from different places. It can be a little bit more unpredictable, find a way to pressure quarterbacks and, create pressure in areas that they don't expect. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I think they have as deep of a secondary as they've had in a long time, and that's something that can play to their favor. But you also, too, have to kind of figure out what that front seven is going to look like with a new set of defensive line starters. And, you hope you have a full season with Javen Wright now that he's back and healthy, but you have some young linebackers and a transfer and Marquise Watson-Trent. So there's a lot to figure out over there too. I just think, again, they have identified that they've done pretty well on first and second down. If you can be better on third down, and if you can force a few more takeaways, that really opens up that ability to win some close games. And Nebraska is going to be in a bunch of them.
Really? Nebraska will play close games? Evan, that's the most shocking thing you've said in months on this program.
Breaking news, right?
Evan, as always, we appreciate it. Keep up the good work. We'll direct people to omaha.com to find it. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks, Austin. See ya.
Evan joined us on our VIP line, brought to you by Outlet Fiber. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll bring Jay Foreman in for a short one, get you set up for Old School with Foreman and Norman right after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Get ready for the largest dirt late model event in Nebraska, race fans. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is heading to Eagle Raceway's High Bank Heist on Thursday, May 15th through Saturday, May 17th. See the greatest dirt late model stars in the country compete for $10,000 to win on both Thursday and Friday, and an enormous $50,000 to win 75-lap main event on Saturday. The High Bank Heist, May 15th through May 17th at Eagle Raceway. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com. Let's go Lucas Oil Late Model Racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: a chance of showers and storms, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a high near 73. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely with a low near 56. Tomorrow, showers and storms continuing throughout the day with a high near 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Cinco de Mayo is May 5th, but the party starts early this year at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina with their street festival on Saturday, May 3rd. Come down to 8th and Q starting at 1 p.m. on May 3rd and see llamas from Sweet and Sassy's Llama Farm until 4 p.m. and enjoy face painting and balloon animals with Miss Shades at 2 p.m. DJ Wyatt will entertain from 6 to 10:30 p.m. There will be drinks, food, and giveaways, and best of all, no cover charge. It's the early Cinco de Mayo Street Festival with Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, Saturday, May 3rd, beginning at 1 p.m. at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Short segment wrapping up On the Block, getting set up for Old School. It'd be the same crew, myself and Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Jay, we wrapped up with Evan talking about a defense getting better on third down. Really briefly, what are maybe the 2 or 3 most important things for a defense as a whole to keep in mind to get off the field more consistently on third down?
I mean, I think communication is always key, no matter if you have a new defense or new defensive coordinator, new players, or veteran players. Yeah, it's always, I think that's the basis of any good defense. And obviously, this is on the assumption that you're going to be physical and play hard. I think third down is communication, and communication leads to pre-snap communication. It leads to better disguise in your coverages, and then also communication leads to better timing on blitzes and stuff like that. So I think I'm big on communication. So, and I think the more guys that you have invested in football, and also when you have built a foundation of the basics, then you're able to add on to it, because you're just essentially piling on to whatever your basis of your defense is, and that just comes with communication. I just think that's huge. I mean, that is just, I mean, the best defenses are the loudest, and it leads to everything. And communication will allow you to play more physical. It'll allow you to play faster. It'll allow you to be more efficient. So I think just play recognition as well, and then also understanding the idea of what third down means. I think our third down defense, offensive defense, but more importantly, defense is just an animal of its own.
It's interesting, too, because it does sound like the offense is trying to take stuff off of guys' plates, right? Simplify and get better there. But on the defensive side, it's going to be that fine line of how do you add to without making it more complicated, right? And I feel like what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is you can add stuff, but the easiest way for everyone to learn is to communicate more.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can add stuff, but as long as you just, like you said, just don't make it confusing. You can put in a whole bunch of different stuff, but as long as the communication and the responsibilities are very, very clear, that's fine. I think sometimes if you just it's something as simple of, say you have 2 defensive coverages or fronts, or just defensive of plays or calls. How long you make that call is part of it as well. So,
because you have to communicate the play call, but that's not the type of communication you're talking about.
Yeah, and so you know, one of the defenses that when Jerry Gray used to get mad easy, he's always called Spike 40. It essentially is like, it's almost the equivalent of a zero blitz, but you're literally, the 2 outside guys are blitzing off of the dot back, right? Or the offset back. You're trying to overload the run game or pass game. But inside that Spike 40, there's about 6 checks that go in with it. But those are all based from the basis of what you learn how to do with cover 4, cover 3, and all that. But it's more prevalent to be able to communicate those checks in Spike 40 defense, because it's high risk, high reward. And so, I think this second year with Butler being around, he feels more comfortable. obviously. He's a coordinator. He has some experience of coordinating. And I think also when I heard they said they're going to try to do some more like next level stuff, NFL stuff. So that's to me, that's like, okay, a little bit more complex coverages. Maybe even play the same coverages, but from different looks, disguising the coverages, combination of players playing those coverages. There's all things you can do. I mean, I always think when the light came on with me, one thing about Jerry Gray, there was times I didn't like him, you know, because Jerry Gray could talk to you crazy, and he would look at you crazy, and then he would talk crazy, and it was just constant pressure with Greg Williams and them. It was just every day. But once he pulled me aside, he said, once you understand what we're really, it's just overflow from base defense to nickel to dime to peso. He had this Amigo package and all the different ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all based off the basis of the defense. And then I was able to take that. And then he kind of was like, now you need to understand when we're talking about Dino, China, bang eights, we used to have this, now routes and flag routes. Once you start to understand what the defensive backs are saying, and then understand the formations and understand how they're communicating,
that's a game changer.
It's not, it's not a really X and those things. It's like, okay, let me understand the why and the why of the why and the why of the why. And then you play super fast.
But you can't just guard the Y's. You gotta get the X and the Z too.
I did not have a good time guarding the Y's. And that's the tight ends. In particular when Peyton Manning, I never thought about it till I started talking to you. Peyton targeted me. He bullied me.
I don't know if I'm glad I helped you come to that realization, or if I'm sorry I helped you come to that realization.
And maybe I just, to be honest with you, I was like, damn, I was thinking about this that last time we brought it up. I was like, I used to think like, I was like, I was a bad dude when I played.
Yeah.
I was like, I really wasn't that good. I was like, you know what? I started telling myself, Jay, you know what? You was garbage. And then, what I'm saying? I was like, hey, dude, Marcus Pollard hit you up.
Peyton tried to tell you without telling you.
Peyton, Dallas. Now, the one that when Dallas Clark won, that is not on me. But the one where they got me, I played it too well and they got me. The okie doke. Kevin Falk got me one when they got one-on-one. Now I'm thinking like, dang, did Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's, they didn't have text message back then. They probably, well, actually you did. You had flip phones or whatever. It's like, yeah, you going to get Jay Foreman. We got to isolate him.
How many times were you name dropped in that group chat?
That's what I wondered, man.
Subpoena the records, Jay.
Yeah.
Boya.
I got to ask my man, Jason Kapsner. He's good friends with Tom Brady. He's like, man, what's up, man? You ain't give a brother a break.
We will attempt to set the record straight by the time football season rolls around. We're talking NFL draft and plenty more on Old School with Foreman and Norman in a sec.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.